Hello everyone and welcome back to this tutorial for the PMDG Boeing 737. I'm Emmanuel, I am a 737 pilot and a member of the PMDG tech team. If you are watching this first, I can very much recommend you to also have a look at the theoretical instruction video on the climb that I published just before this one. So we're picking this back up. In the previous episode we were cleared to 11,000 or flight level 110, and now, assuming we're getting cleared up to higher level, let's say 240-ish. First thing we're going to do, since we're cleared above level 150, we will increase thrust to the full climb thrust. So we're going to delete climb 2 on the N1 limit page. Verify there is no further climb limitation displayed here. Right, altimeters. Passing flight level 103, climbing 240, 10 checks. The 10 checks is basically configuring the airplane from low-level flights to going up to the higher level. So we've got the fuel that's balanced with 4 pumps on. If you had fuel in the center tank and were not using the center tank pumps for your takeoff, you would turn on the center tank pumps now as well. And the lights, you're basically going to turn off all lights except for the position lights and strobe and steady and the anti-collision that are going to remain on. All the other lights can be turned off at high level flight. APU is off, air condition and pressurization. This is a vital life support system, so let me just go over this quickly. Make sure the differential pressure is between 4 and 5 psi. It's usually going to be about 4, slightly higher here now since I'm taking all the time to explain this and we are at a higher level than 100 already. So you're calling out the PSI, let's say 5.3, climbing, and then you're going over the whole pressurization and air conditioning panel to make sure that everything's set as it should be. Pressurization mode selector auto, bleed, engine bleeds on, APU bleed off, packs on auto, isolation valve auto. And finally you are also going to check the cabin temperatures to make sure it's not getting too hot. It's 28 degrees there now. I'm going to turn this down slightly. Next you are going to check the seatbelt sign. It can be turned off if there is no further turbulence expected, keeping it on due to the clouds here now since I am expecting a little bit of turbulence. Then you're going to do a recall and make sure that you are monitoring 1 to 1.5, the emergency frequency. If that is not pre-selected on your second radio yet, then you want to do it now. Right, so monitoring 1 to 1.5. And that completes the 10 checks. The temperature is below 10, we are in clouds, so we're also going to turn on the engine anti-ice. Make sure the lights go from bright to dim. Then you can see the thermal anti-ice indication on the engine display as well. In the climb at every full 10,000s you are passing, so 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, you want to repeat the reverse L technique here on the air condition panel to make sure that the pressurization system is again working, or rather is still working. Again, I cannot overemphasize the importance of this, since this is one of the most vital life support systems you have available on the Boeing 737 aircraft, and actually on any aircraft. Right, now our traffic control is clearing us higher, all the way to a cruise level of 340, so set, 340 checked, verify you're in VNAV and call that out. And when you're clear to your cruise level, you also want to verify that the airplane is correctly set up for that. So you're checking on your flight out over here, 340 once, then on the PFD, 340 twice, and finally in the FMC on the cruise page that there's 340 in here as well on a third time, and make sure that that complies with your optimum altitude. So then it's 340 3 times, so it's 340 once, twice, 3 times, And you also verify again that you are actually monitoring 1 to 1.5. Right, we're leaving the clouds here, engine anti-ice off. And I don't expect any further turbulence, so we can also turn the seatbelt signs to auto. Once again, if you've watched this far and skipped over the introductions, as I know quite a couple of you do, I'm please asking you to have a look at the theoretical video that I've did on the climb, where you will find all the explanation as to what to do and why to do it. And covering topics like the full climb thrust there, like the 3-2-1 rule that you are yet to see in action, but that I'm going to show you when we're leveling off at high cruise altitude. Also why, when we're passing 30,000 feet, I'm going to select the bank angle selected back to 10. I'm also going over the anti-ice usage there. So if you haven't, do check it out. It is going to be linked in the description of the video below. Right, passing level 300, angle of bank 10, and again checking the air conditioner pressurization system. Temperature is 26 now, that's good. The air conditioning system in the 737 is, let's call, improvable. It doesn't do a very good job at maintaining temperatures, and if you're climbing and you see the cabin chime light going on together with the ding-dong when the cabin is calling you, then the first thing you're going to do is to check the temperatures. Okay, with 2,000 feet to go, vertical speed 2,000. Again, this is part of the 3-2-1 rule. Watch the theoretical instruction video for an explanation what that is and why we do it. Now here we are almost at maximum thrust, so we got to be careful now that we are not losing any airspeed. And now we're approaching 1 to go, so I'm reducing the rate of climb to 1,000 feet a minute. Now we should get our thrust margin back as well. 1 to go. Vertical speed. For the 3-2-1 rule, if you are just slightly exceeding the vertical speed that you are required to do, you can accept that in VNAV. Personally, I'm usually going to 300 to 400 feet a minute that I'm accepting, because if the wind was to change now, then we would get quite some, or rather than we might get quite some issues, because we were at the maximum thrust available. So if you are in vertical speed, especially at high altitudes, always monitor your thrust to make sure you have excess thrust if needed. And if you are close to the maximum, make sure to monitor your speed. If that shows any signs to go down, then go back to VNAV mode. Alright, we're now leveling off in our cruise level, 340. Back to VNAV. Now there's one final thing for us to do, and that is on the N1 limit page. Set max continuous thrust and verify conset. We do this because at high levels we might not have sufficient thrust available if we're using the default cruise rating. And there have been instances where aircraft got into a low speed situation because they had this cruise limit set. The cruise limit that the airplane uses by default is slightly restricting the maximum thrust in order to provide reduced temperatures in the engine core and turbine sections and therefore reduce maintenance cost. However, experience has shown that aircraft might run into a low speed situation because of this very artificial limit, of this improved service life limit, and therefore it has been decided that in cruise we are now always setting maximum continuous thrust so that we have all the thrust available in case we need it. Alright, this is going to finish our climb tutorial. We'll see you on the next one for the cruise, and until then I hope that you are going to enjoy the newly released MD-80 or BAE 146 aircraft. Or if the 737 has been out already, I'm looking forward to see you on the time that... to see you on the next video. Thank you very much, and see you all soon.